Hello, hello, hello. So today I'm making a tier list of all of the enemies in Resident Evil 4. I'm gonna rank them from S to D. Which ones I like the best, or like the easiest to kill, or just kind of in general. So first off, we got the armor guys. They're called like armors, or armadura. That's what they're called, and they first come out when you see Ashley in the after you like free her and get her back um from the little guy, the little short guy. Uh they're kind of like when the first time you see them they're kind of freaky because when you're playing as Ashley you have no weapons and it's really dark and they kind of like follow you around and it's just you're just being chased by them the whole time until you like leave the room, and you also have to dodge them, which is like quick time events, which is a classic Resident Evil 4 moment. Anyways, after you get past them and you reunite with Leon, you do see them later on as Leon. You have to shoot them in the head and then kill the Plagas that come out of them. They do a lot of damage, and they're kind of hard to kill if you don't have any shotgun shells. So obviously it's a shotgun to the head, and then you need to do that 3 times because there's 3 of them that come out the first round, and then you have to throw a flash grenade, and then you have to do it 3 more times because there's 3 more that come out. So they're kind of hard to kill and they're kind of freaky, so I'm gonna give them an A tier. Um, and then we got Torres Mendez. So this is a boss. So you kill him just before you get into the castle. So transitioning from the village to the castle. Um, he is not too hard to kill, but the room is hard to move around in, especially if you're not used to keyboard controls, which I'm not yet. It took me a couple tries to kill him on PC. Not too many. It did take me more tries on PlayStation when I played a while ago. Um, but I think it was, yeah. He's kind of a pain to kill just because you have to separate his top from his bottom, and you have to like run around the top part of the room and then get him to like come out and then run back around and then shoot him in the back a bunch, and it's kind of a pain because it's just a lot of repetitiveness, and then once his like half breaks off then you could just shoot him with a shotgun a couple times and he's dead. So he's not too bad to kill, he's just a little bit of this like repetitive boss. He is one of the first bosses, but he's not terribly hard to kill, so I'm just gonna give him a C. Um, and then we got the castle Gandors or whatever they're called. So there's just like the main guys that you see in the castle. They kind of look like the Emperor from Star Wars with their hoods on. This one doesn't have a hood, but they're just kind of vibing. Um, they kind of like say like winning or something when they're like whisper and stuff when they chase you, and they speak Spanish and whatever, and they're chasing you around, and a lot of them have like a ball and chain that they hit you with, which does a lot of damage. Some of them come with shields, and other ones come with like scythes and stuff that they can throw at you. Some of them also do come with bows, like with flaming arrows, like crossbows with flaming arrows, and those things do a lot of damage, and they're really hard to get off. So obviously, it's like whatever. When you kill them, they do say Lord Sadler most of the time. So because of their devotion to Sadler, I'm gonna give them an A. Then we got the Bella sisters. So these 2 women come out after you complete the house with Luis, and then you can pick left or right, and they come out on the left side. Um, one of them gives you a ruby, I think, and the other one gives you a key, so you can move on to the next area. They are not too hard to kill. There's a couple guys that come out with them that are kind of a pain, but if you just go in the corner of like the top thing and just shoot them with your shotgun a bunch, it's pretty easy to kill them. So I'm gonna give them just a B because they're neutral. Then we got the zombie dogs, the Colomos. They suck. Let me tell you, they suck. The first time they come out is after you kill Del Lago in the lake, and it's raining and it's nighttime. They come out and it's dark and they're making loud noises and they chase you around and you can hear the little paws pattering, and then they have the plagas come out of them. They're a pain to kill. I mean, it's like a shotgun shot pretty much kills them, but they're just kind of they're kind of freaky. Like they you can just hear them, so you know they're there, but you can't see them. And then they come out again on the way to the church, and then they also come out in the courtyard once you're in the castle. In the castle, you can hear them, and they're mostly trapped in cages, but they can also jump around like the maze part, and it's kind of annoying. And I'm not a fan of dogs. I'm gonna give them a D tier just because they kind of freak me out. Then we got Del Lago. So this is the lake monster. It's the very first boss, I'm pretty sure. He comes out. You don't have to shoot him with your gun or anything. You just maneuver around in the boat and then you throw spears at him. Um, you do have to dodge the floating things or you'll fall out. It's not too hard, this boss, because you don't have to use any bullets, but that also makes it hard in another sense because you have to like figure out how to aim with the spear and like figure out what's best. It is a lot of repetitiveness. I mean, most of the stuff you have to do 3 times, and that's when the enemy dies, like most of the bosses. He's not too bad to kill. He's just kind of there. I'm gonna give him a B because he's kind of neutral. Then we got Dr. Salvador. He is the chainsaw variation of the normal villager. The first time he comes out is the first fight, like first big fight in the game, when you first get into the village. After you check with the binoculars and then pull up at the village, you have to kill 14 enemies. You don't actually have to kill him at the beginning. If you kill 14 enemies before you kill him, then the bell rings and they leave. If you do kill him, then you do get a ruby, I'm pretty sure, which sells for a decent amount. It's like 10,000 pesetas, I think. Um, they're not too hard to kill. A chainsaw man, just shoot them with your shotgun. You can get like locks, like reload locks, especially on PC. I've noticed this. Once you're reloading, you can't stop, and once you get like into the animation, then if they get too close to you, they could just kill you immediately, no matter what your health is, which is kind of sick actually. They could just come and kill you. Um, they're just typical chainsaw guys, so I'm gonna give them a C because you know they come out every so often, and then once the villagers stop coming out, they stop coming out as well. And then we got El Gigante. So the first one you see, I think, is the second boss. He comes out, and if you rescue the dog at the very beginning of the game, the dog will come and help you, or the wolf, or whatever it is. He will come and help you with the giant and distract him, which is, you know, really nice. I love that dog. um, but this guy, they're not too hard to kill. I typically shoot them in the legs or in like the crotch area with the TMP a bit, and then I just continue that and then slice their thing up, and then you know you do it 3 times. It's a 3-step kill. They do give you a lot of pesetas. They do keep coming out throughout the game too. Like in the castle, they'll come out a couple times, and there is a couple parts where you have to kill 2 of them at once, which isn't too bad. The second time he comes out is on the right side after you kill after you do like the house with Luis. Um, so it's not too bad. You know, it's kind of a neutral guy. I'm gonna put him at B because he's not too bad. He doesn't really do anything special, but alright. And then we got I know what this is called, I just can't pronounce it. Garrador? Yeah, Garrador. So these are like Wolverine type beat. They are kind of epic. They are blind. The first time it comes out is in the castle. Um, what you gotta do is you gotta shoot the bells, and he'll go run up to the bell, and he'll get his like Wolverine claws stuck, and then you have to shoot him in the back. You shoot him in his little back thing 3 times, and he dies, or maybe a couple more times if you're playing on a harder difficulty setting. But typically, if you're playing on normal, it's a three times you shoot him in the back, and then he's dead. Um, they're not too hard to kill, but they can be really annoying, and they are really OP because they have like really good hearing since they're blind. So if you run, then they'll hear your footsteps and run up and kill you. And they hit you once with their Wolverine claws, you're dead. Um, you see them the first time in the castle, the second time you see them again in the castle a little bit later on, and then you see 2 at once. One of them is fully armored, so he's kind of OP, so you can't even like shoot him in the chest a little bit. But these guys you have to be really strategic to kill. So you can't just like run around and continuously shoot at them. You have to like think about what you're doing. And for that I am gonna give him an S tier. Then we got the Iron Maiden. So it's another variation of the Regenerator. But this one, if you get close to it, he will shoot spikes out at you and then you die pretty much instantly. They breathe. Their breathing is actually really terrifying if you if you aren't used to it or if you aren't used to the game, because then you can like hear them. To see their like weak spots, you need a special scope on your rifle. It's like a heat-seeking scope, I think. So you see like where their spots are, and that's where their weak points are. It's the same thing with their generators. Um, they are not great to kill, because they can, they just keep coming at you, and they don't really get stunned easily, if I remember correctly. Um, I'm gonna put them in A tier just because they're kind of cool. And then we got Jack Krauser, which is a boss fight. He comes out a couple times, and then you have to kill him like again. The Jack Krauser boss fight, in my opinion, is the hardest boss fight in this game because you make one wrong move with him or you don't dodge him right and you're dead. And there's not a lot of room, like at the final part of the boss fight, there is not a lot of room in the area to kill him. And by then you've already used most of your resources, so he's honestly pretty hard to kill. Um, I do think that he is a pretty good character in the game. He comes out the first time you see him is like in the castle, but then you because the main guy, Sadler, is coming out and he like is like, okay, you got to go get Leon because he's doing this. Um, the first couple times you fight Krauser, it's a lot of just quick time events, and he's like a normal human. But then you see later on that he has been injected with the virus, the Las Plagas, and then he will come out with his arm and start slicing you up. And he moves really fast, like he will dodge all your shots. Um, because he is such a hard boss fight, I am gonna give him an S tier because it's repetitive, but it is the hardest boss fight and it takes the most out of you. Like, there are so many times where I've just quit the game and not come back for runs just because I couldn't do it, which obviously it's not really the case anymore, but that was, on the Wii, like, it's hard, right? Um, and then we got the machine gun guy. So these guys come out in the third part when you're on the island. Yeah, Jack Krauser also comes out on the island, and so does the Iron Maiden. Oh, whoops. But these guys are called JJ. First time you see it is on the island. They are machine gun men. They just continuously shoot them at you. They have really disgusting neck rolls if you look close at them, but they do give you a lot of money once you kill them. They're not really anything special. They're just like another variant of the chainsaw, but they have a machine gun, so they can do range damage. So I'm gonna just give them a C. And then you got the Las Plagas. So any type of Plagas, this is the spider-like one, I think, but any type of Plagas that comes out. So the first one that you see, it comes from the first like set of enemies, which are the first villagers. Um, those ones are kind of just like their eyes, and then if they come out more, they have like a long knife, like sharp kind of bone knife thing that comes out and can like kill you instantly. Then in the castle, the ones that come out of those guys are kind of like long, kind of gross, like slug-looking things, and then they can also be the ones that come out, and then once you kill them, they come out and they're kind of spider-like. There are a couple more, but those are the main three ones that I can think of right now. The Las Plagas, they just come out, they just do their thing. Everybody, like, everything is infected with the Las Plagas. Like, everything that you fight is infected with it, so it's just kind of the general virus. But because it's so OP and it does infect everything, and everything, like, on this list is infected, I'm gonna give the Las Plagas an S tier. And then the Novistador. So these guys, the first time you see them is in the like the sewers of the castle. They are invisible the first time you see them, but then every other time I'm pretty sure they're just kind of there, like they're not really invisible. You can see them, and then if you shoot them out of the sky when they're flying, they die instantly. If you have to shoot them a couple times in the head with a shotgun if they're on the ground. They can insta kill you if you get too close to them. They can do an attack to insta kill you. Their attack time, like to see that they're doing their attack, is very small. So if you're loading and they are too close to you, you will get insta killed. Your head will get sliced off. It literally just happened to me earlier. But these guys, they're kind of OP, but they also kind of suck, and they give you the green eyes, the red eyes, and the blue eyes though for the butterfly lamps, which does give you a decent amount of pesetas. They are kind of OP in my opinion. Like, they're invisible. One hit with the handgun in the air and they're dead. But when they're on the ground, they are OP. Like, they can insta kill you. They're They're guys. They're pretty good. They fly. They can, you can hear them and stuff. There is like a big fight with them in the nest. One of them does kidnap Ashley though as well, so that's kind of OP. They could just like pick Ashley up and just take her with them. Um, so I'm gonna give him an A. And I'm gonna do the regenerators next. So these guys are another variant of the Iron Maiden. They're the first one that you see. They do breathe really loud. They're kind of freaky. You have to, I think you just have to either push into the water or like push them into something or run away the first time you see them because you don't have the scope yet. But once you get the scope, they're not too hard to kill. They're kind of neutral. They're kind of scary, so I'm just giving them a B. And then we got the typical villager. So like the village Gandos. So it's the same thing as the other one, like the Emperor kind of one. These guys, they can come in a couple variants. There are females. It's the only enemy that there are females of them. So there's only 2 female like enemies, which are the same kind of skin as the Bella sisters, except they're just normal looking. So the Chainsaw Man can also come in any variant of these ones, but he typically comes in like the fat one. There's a couple variants of these. They speak Spanish. They also say Lord Sadler when they die. There's nothing too special about them. The females can have knives. The men can have like axes that they throw on you. They can also have dynamite. They come with a variety of weapons. They're just kind of generic. I'm just gonna give them a B because they're not too special or anything like that. And then we got the Vertigo. So this guy comes out after you get thrown down the thing. He is one of the little short guy's special friends. One of the Salazar's little like special guys. They're kind of hard. The first time you see him, you don't actually have to kill him. You just have to freeze him a couple times and then run around and wait for the timer to run out so you can escape. There's no visual timer, but it's essentially that. Because you can't kill them and you can't kill him and he's just kind of there and chasing you, I'm just gonna give him a C. He does do a lot of damage, but you just have to dodge his shots. The bullets they don't even hit him, they just bounce off of him because of his skin is kind of like armor. So, he's kind of, meh to kill, but well, you can't kill him, but meh to get by at least. And then you got the U3. So this guy, he is awful. You see him just after you get out of the mines, I think. After, you're still in the castle stage, but just after you get out of the mines, I think. Kind of in between the castle and the village stage, before you kill Salazar. He comes out and comes out in the shipping containers, and you have to, first of all, the fight is timed. Second of all, you have to, get to each area before the thing falls, and it's timed and it's stressful, and he can trap you in an area and then you'll get killed instantly. He can also, I don't know. I don't really remember this fight too well because I haven't done it yet and recently. I just know that it sucks and it's one of my least favorite fights. He is a good boss. I will say that he is a good boss, but because I don't really like this fight personally, I can't really, that's kind of biased. So he is a good boss. He's a creative boss. There's a lot going on. He's a hard boss. I'm gonna give him an A because I do have some respect for him. I'm actually gonna move the Vertigo down to the D tier because you can't actually kill him. He's not really a boss. You just have to run away from him. This is the soldier version of the Gandor, so the typical enemy. They come in a couple variations as well. They can look different. They can have different weapons. Some of them have stun rods. Some of them have axes. Some of them, I think some of them do have guns. I can't remember. I haven't gotten to that stage yet. They're not too bad to kill. It's the same idea as the other ones, but because they are a little bit less creative and they don't really say stuff when they die. They're kind of just screaming there the whole time, and they just kind of run around. They're not as good as the castle ones. I'm gonna give them a C. They're good enemies, but they're it's the same thing. It's just they have a different outfit on, really, which it's the main generic enemy. I just don't really like soldiers because they come out the island stage and they're just kind of meh. Now we have Salazar. So his fight, if I remember correctly, is not actually very hard. Uh, you know, you just gotta shoot his eyeball a bunch if you have the Magnum, which you should, and you should still have the rocket launcher. Um, he's really not hard to kill. He kind of takes up like the wall, and then you have to like run around the bottom and then shoot at him. You can even hit him a couple times with a rifle in his weak spots, and then he gets like kind of gets mad. I'm pretty sure he has like 3 arms that come out too that kind of like sway over the ground that you have to dodge, which are kind of annoying. I don't remember if there are quick times to dodge them. I can't remember, but he is not a great fight wise. He's kind of a generic fight. You know, it's the same thing. Shoot this 3 times, continue with that, shoot this 3 times, and he doesn't take a lot of damage to die compared to some of the other bosses. Um, it is kind of a creative fight in some ways because you know he does take up like the whole wall and he just kind of like mutates. So I will give him a C because he's all right. And then finally we have oh, whoops. Finally we have the last boss of the game. This is Lord Sadler. He or Osmond Sadler. He is a mediocre boss fight. In my opinion, he is probably one of the worst boss fights and one of the easiest in the whole game. He's the very last fight that you do, and Ada comes out, she throws a rocket launcher at you. You have to shoot him once with the rocket launcher and then a couple times with the magnum or a couple times in his like legs because he kind of grows like legs out of his back. And Ada comes, she throws the rocket launcher at you, then you use that, and it's really like it's a very simple fight. On the Wii there is a special gun that you can get, and it only takes like 1 charge to kill him, where some of the other boss enemies it takes like 3 or 4 because you have to do it for each stage of them. But he really only has 1 stage. Like you can kill him very easily. Because of this, I'm giving him a D. He is probably one of the worst boss fights in the game, even though he is the last boss fight. And yeah, so that's my list. You got the Gyarados, Krauser, the Plagas in general because it's kind of OP. The Armadors, the generic castle enemies, the Iron Maidens, the Novicidors U3, Bella Sisters, Del Lago, El Gigante, the Regenerator, the generic villager enemy, Torres Mendez, you know, chainsaw variant of the generic villager, or Dr. Salvador if you want to say his name. JJ, which is like the chainsaw equivalent variant of the soldier. Then the soldier, then you got Salazar, and then the dogs, and then Vertigo, and then the last boss, the main character that you're fighting the whole time, is Sadler. And yeah, that's my list. I don't know why I made this, but I just wanted to. So, there you go.